Welcome, lovely one. In this video, I am going to teach you how to simplify or solve questions under Surds. My name is Anthony Osementa, popularly referred to as Sir Tony, the mathematics doctor from Aplus lesson. Let us get into the solution of this particular question. The question reads, simplify root 3 plus 2 root 3 plus 4 root 3. Let's get into the solution. Solution. We have the square root of 3 plus 2 root 3 plus 4 root 3. Now, if you study this particular question, we have the square root of numbers in each particular term of the entire question. The square root of 3 is referred to as a surd. Now, a surd is the square root of any number which cannot be reduced to a whole number. That means that the square root of 3, for example, cannot be simplified into a whole number form. This also implies that if you put the square root of 3 on a scientific calculator, the square root of 3 will still provide the answer square root of 3, except that you want to convert this particular answer into a decimal, which will have more decimal places, that is infinite decimal places. This simply qualifies the square root of any number which cannot be reduced into a whole number as a surd, and a surd is also an irrational number. Now, to simplify this surd question, we need to know the general characteristic of all surds when they are being added or subtracted. Now, in this situation, we have only the addition sign in between the terms. Now, if you want to add or subtract a surd in its simplest form, the square root of 3 is a surd in its simplest form. If you want to add or subtract these kind of surds, first of all, you need to check the surd itself. This is the square root of 3. Now, the square root of 3 is also found in the second term, and the square root of 3 is found in the fourth term. I want you to study this. You realize that there is a number in front of the square root of 3. That number is called the coefficient of the surd. That means that this number is multiplying the square root of 3 to make it 2 root 3. It shows how many of the root 3 we have. That means we have 2 of the root 3 here. Here we have 4 of the root 3. And then you realize that root 3 has no coefficient, meaning it has a coefficient of 1, which is not written. So there is only one or a single root 3. Since we have root 3, and root 3 in all the sets, it means we have like sets. And once we have like sets, we can go ahead and add all these like sets. So 1 of the root 3 plus 2 of the root 3 will give us 3 of the root 3. And plus 4 of the root 3 will end up giving us 7 of the root 3. That is to say, 1 is a coefficient. Add it to the coefficient here. So 1 plus 2. And there is another coefficient 4 plus 4. Now 1 plus 2 plus 4 will end up giving us 7. So that means the coefficients are giving us 7. We now consider the root 3. So we have 7 root 3. That means all the root 3 or all the sets which are root 3 here are 7 of them. 1 root 3 as the first term, 2 of the root 3 as the second term, and 4 of the root 3. So 1 root 3 plus 2 of the root 3 will give us 3 of the root 3. And 4 of the root 3 added will give us 7 of the root 3. So finally, we will have 7 root 3 as our answer. That means that if you simplify root 3 plus 2 root 3 plus 4 root 3, you will end up getting 7 root 3 as your answer. Thank you very much and God bless you. This question reads, simplify 3 square root of 2 plus 5 square root of 2 minus 4 square root of 2. Let us get into the solution. Solution. We have 3 square root of 2 plus 5 square root of 2 minus 4 square root of 2. Now, this is a surd. A surd is the square root of any number which cannot be reduced to a whole number. So, meaning that 3 root 2 is a surd, plus 5 root 2 is a surd, and minus 4 square root of 2 is a surd. So, they are all surds. Since we are adding or subtracting under this question, we need to understand that characteristic that says that we can only add or subtract like surds. Like sets are sets with the same square root number. So here we have 3 square root of 2, 5 square root of 2, and minus 4 square root of 2. They all have the square root of 2. And the square root of 2 is a surd. In view of that, we can go ahead and simplify this particular expression since they are all having the same surd. That is to say, they are all having the same square root of 2. Now, how many square root of 2 do we have? We have 3 square root of 2. So 3 root 2. There are 3 of the square root of 2. And here we have 5 square root of 2. So 5 of them. And we have 4 square root of 2, but with a minus. So we go ahead and deal with the coefficient excluding the surd. So just leave the surd out for now. That means that 3 as a coefficient plus 5 should give us 8. Now 8 as a coefficient minus 4 will give us 4. So meaning 3 plus 5 here minus 4 should give us 4. 8 minus 4 is 4. That means it will be left with 4 of the root 2. So we are going to get 4 root 2. So I am just trying to advise that if you know you can't deal with them in a combined form, just deal with the coefficients first. The answer that you get, I got 4. From 3 plus 5 minus 4, I'll get 4. So the answer that I will get, I will attach the square root of 2 or the surd. So in a nutshell, or finally, I'll get 4 root 2. So this is trying to tell us that when you have 3 root 2 and you add 5 root 2, you get 8 root 2. Then you subtract 4 root 2 from it, you're going to get 4 of the root 2. So 3 root 2 plus 5 root 2 minus 4 root 2 will end up giving 4 root 2 as the final answer. So 4 root 2 is the answer for this particular set. Thank you very much and God bless you. This question reads, simplify 3 square root of 2 plus square root of 3 plus 4 square root of 2 plus 2 square root of 3. Let us get into the solution of this third question. Solution. The question reads 3 square root of 2 plus square root of 3 plus 4 square root of 2 plus 2 square root of 3. Now, these are all sets. The fact is that these square root of numbers cannot be reduced or simplified into whole numbers, and they are in their simplest form. So 3 square root of 2 on the scientific calculator will still be 3 square root of 2. The same thing applies to root 3 and all of the other sets. So since all these sets are in their simplest form, we need to reduce them into a single set. That is why the question says simplify. Now let's check the sets. Here it is 3 square root of 2 and this is square root of 3. The square roots of the numbers are not the same. That means they are unlike sets. So we have to group like sets. And to group the sets into their like sets, I'll first of all deal with the square root of 2. So the first number is 3 square root of 2. I'll look for any set with square root of 2, and I've seen that 4 root 2 is the set that is like this particular set, 3 root 2. So I bring the positive 4 root 2, so plus 4 root 2. Please, you consider the sign in front of that particular set. Now, if you check, there is no other root 2 anymore. We now go on to root 3. I have plus root 3, that is positive root 3. I'll bring it here, plus root 3. The final root 3 or the root 3 again that we have is 2 root 3, which is positive. So plus 2 root 3. So by doing this, we have grouped like sets. Now we can go ahead and simplify them according to their like sets. 3 of the root 2 plus 4 of the root 2 means that we have to add these two. Now we check the coefficient here. 3 plus 4 will give us 7. That means 3 of the root 2 here plus 4 of the root 2 will end up getting 7 root 2. So we have 7 of the root 2. Now we have positive here. So we can go root 3. That is 1 of the root 3 plus 2 of the root 3. We have a single 1 plus 2 will give us 3. So that means this root 3 here as 1 root 3 plus 2 root 3 will give us 3 root 3. So we have plus 3 of the root 3. Now, if you check, 7 root 2 plus 3 root 3 are not having the same sets. This set is root 2 and this one is root 3. They are unlike sets. And please, we cannot add or subtract unlike sets. So 7 root 2 plus 3 root 3 will give us the same answer. So this is our final answer. This means that when you simplify 3 root 2 plus root 3 plus 4 root 2 plus 2 root 3, you should end up getting 7 root 2 plus 3 root 3 as your final answer. You can also consider changing the position of the set, which will also give us 3 root 3 plus 7 root 2, which is the same as this. So this answer right here is the same as this answer that we have here. They are the same. So it's called a commutative property. The arrangement of the terms does not matter since it is an addition sign. So 7 root 2 plus 3 root 3 is the same as 3 root 3 plus 7 root 2. That is the final answer for this particular question. Thank you very much and God bless you. This question reads, simplify 2 square root of 5 plus 3 square root of 3 minus root of 5 plus 2 root of 3. Now let us simplify this particular set question. Solution. We have 2 root of 5 plus 3 root of 3 minus root of 5 plus 2 root of 3. Okay, so now let's get into the solution. Now all these terms here are sets because there is a square root of a number that cannot be reduced into a whole number. So 2 root 5, 3 root 3 minus root 5 and then 2 root 3 are all sets in their simplest form. Now before you can add or subtract these sets, we need to make sure they are like sets. 2 root 5 is not a like set to 3 root 3 because root 5 and root 3 are not the same. So they are unlike sets. So at this particular point, we have to group like sets. So I have 2 root 5. I need to look for any of the terms that has root 5. Then I see minus root 5. So root 5 has qualified it to be a like set with 2 root 5. So I bring the minus root 5 because the sign is a negative. Since there is no other root 5, I'll now consider the next set, which is root 3. Now I have positive 3 root 3 and plus 2 root 3. They are all positive. So I'll bring them together. So I have plus 3 root 3. Then I have plus 2 root 3. So at this point, I have grouped like sets. I can now simplify them since they have been grouped. Now I have 2 root 5 minus root 5. That means that 2 of the root 5s minus just 1 of the root 5. If you don't understand it well, I have given you another way that the coefficient, the numbers in front of the roots, just subtract them. So I have 2 here minus 1. And you know 2 minus 1 will give us 1. So just 1. That means 2 root 5 minus root 5 will give us just 1 root 5. And you write it as root 5. That means the coefficient is 1, but we don't write it in mathematics. So 2 root 5 minus root 5 will give us just root 5. 2 of the root 5 minus just 1 of the root 5 will give us a single root 5. That is the meaning. Also, you realize that root 3 here is 3 root 3. And the root 3 here is 2 root 3. So 3 of the root 3 plus 2 of the root 3. So 3 plus 2, that is the meaning, 5. So 3 root 3 plus 2 root 3 gives us 5 root 3. And since they are both positive, we get plus 5 root 3. That means that the set's coefficients are added to get to the particular number the set will be. So 3 root 3 is 3 of the root 3, plus 2 root 3 is 2 of the root 3. So 3 plus 2 is 5. So 5 of the root 3, that is the meaning. Now that we have root 5 plus 5 root 3, you should know that root 5 is a set which is not the same as root 3. Root 3 is a different set. So they are unlike sets. And you know that we cannot add or subtract unlike sets, but you can rather add or subtract sets which are like. That means they have the same square root of the number. So since here is square root of 5 and this is 5 square root of 3, we can't add them, not because of the number 5 outside, but because of the number 5 under the square root sign. The square root sign here has 5 here, and the square root sign here has 3. So they are not the same. So they are unlike sets. Irrespective of this 5, still they are not the same. So since they are unlike sets, the answer remains root 5 plus 5 root 3. Or you can also write it as 5 root 3 plus root 5. That is the same thing. So that is just changing the position of the terms. That is a commutative property. The addition sign can help you change the position of terms and the answer will be the same, or without changing the answer. So if you change the position of terms without changing the answer under the addition sign, or when you change the position of terms and get the same answer, it is referred to as commutative property. It is done for both addition and multiplication. But in this case, I'm dealing with the addition sign. So root 5 plus 5 root 3 is the same as 5 root 3 plus root 5. So the final answer for 2 root 5 plus 3 root 3 minus root 5 plus 2 root 3 will give us root 5 plus 5 root 3, or 5 root 3 plus root 5. Thank you very much and God bless you.